Hello, welcome back. Melissa B here. Welcome to Carnivore Chats. It's been a little while. We've got Chris Tahmazis on tonight from Melbourne, another fellow Greek carnivore. I'm really excited to have a chat with him and to talk about everything carnivore, as well as a bit about my trip to the US. So bear with me as I try to get Chris on. If you're jumping in, say hi so I know you're here. We will get. Ooh, is this positive? Yes. Oh, it's awesome. I don't know what's going on. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I wasn't getting any notifications for your invite, so anyway, yeah.
Weird.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
When did you get back? A couple of days ago?
I think it was a week ago tomorrow. So yeah, that's gone really quickly. Wednesday. I was actually gone for 9 days by the calendar. Oh, Dr. Kiltz has jumped on. Hi, Dr. Kiltz. How you doing? Yeah, 9 days, but it actually was only 7 when we count actually how many days. Very weird travel kind of date thing when you go over and come back. So.
Where did you go exactly in the US?
So I went to Dallas, and from Dallas to a place called Knoxville, and from Knoxville, Tennessee, I then went to a place called Gatlinburg, which is at the foot of the Smoky Mountains. And so we went up about, 25 minutes up a massive mountain, and we were in a beautiful log cabin area where it was just nature and bears and fresh air and all that kind of thing.
And plenty of meat.
Yes, plenty of meat.
What were you guys eating there? Because obviously they're from the US, they'd have, I guess, their own native animals. Were you getting into any of that elk and stuff that they have there?
No, we didn't have any of that actually, but no, we were mainly eating, ribeye, mince, chicken, pork, a lot of things made with egg, bacon, butter, salt.
You don't eat eggs still, are you, from memory?
I don't eat eggs. No, I don't eat eggs. I don't like eggs. It's a shame because I like to like eggs, but I just can't do it. It's more of
What is with that? What's the story?
Oh, my mum forced me to have eggs when I was young, and now I don't like eating eggs. Unless, you know what I'm going to say?
I don't know, tell me.
Unless I'm having something like avgolemono.
Okay.
And then as long as I don't know it is egg, or I don't think about it like that, I'll have it. For those who don't know, that's a Greek traditional soup, but I don't really have that anymore because it's got rice. So, yeah. But yeah, it was amazing. It was, to go to the mountains, just to go to those mountains, firstly, it was an amazing experience. But to be in the mountains with all these amazing carnivore leaders from all around, America, was just a whole nother experience, and to connect with people like I did. And the beautiful thing is when I hold my events here, like the feeling there was just like it is here. People like to share, and it's all about sharing stories. It's all about human connection. It's all about there's a common theme. There's a common we're all aligned, I guess, because we're having the same experience, and that's what it felt like there. And it's the same as what it feels like when I'm here running these events, the carnivore events here too. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I think with the big thing when it comes to something of this nature, as much of it is a way of eating, it's almost a way of life. And you what I find, at least I'm sure you have, because you've dived into it far deeper than I have, is you don't just eat meat, it's you perceive, and the way you look at world views and other things like that kind of align, because you think a certain way, and then everyone else has these other common interests which ends up being very, very similar to that way of thinking.
Yes.
So the connection that you're probably having with these people is just like, it's just kind of like, where have you been my whole life, sort of thing.
Yes. But also, I often say carnivores have this real warm and fuzzy feeling when we're together. And the reason for that, I truly believe, is because you're living life on a different level that other people haven't experienced or aren't doing. And that's not to say anyone is right or wrong. It's just that feeling you get from living this lifestyle, unless you really experienced it, you can't explain it. And then when you're living it, it's like everyone is high energy. Everyone's very happy. Everyone's like viewing life differently. I often say I can see colors brighter, and I'm kind of like experiencing life through a clearer lens because of the brain fog goes and my eyesight is clearer. Colors has been a really big thing for me. Like I feel like I can see clearer. I see colors more vibrantly, especially when I'm out in nature. And so when you're with a group of people who are naturally thriving like humans are meant to, you can't tell me that that's not going to like collectively change the mood or like shift the vibe in the room. And unless you kind of done it or you're doing it and you've experienced it, you don't really know. So, and this is where for me personally, my journey is like paleo, so standard diet, paleo, keto, carnivore. And every time I would do something, I would feel better. But then getting to carnivore was like a whole other level, and I'll never go back, because why would you choose to go back when you're feeling so great? And then, of course, you do try to bring things in and see what it feels like. Everything's feedback. And I know from my own experience that I feel the best when I'm doing pure carnivore. So, yeah.
I'd have to agree on that.
Yeah.
Because it was only 5 weeks ago where I was doing the complete opposite.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about this because I've got a bit to say about it too from my own experience last year with Greek Easter. So I last year had been doing carnivore for a while, of course, back then, because I've been doing it about 3 years. And I remember it came to Greek Easter, and I just usually fast the week of Greek Easter. I don't do the 40 days. And I went vegan pretty much. That's the way we do it traditionally. And the impact it had on me just was not very good, a very good experience. I felt terrible, let's put it that way. And I said to myself, next year, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to look at eating up until a certain point in the week of Easter, and then I'm going to water fast for as long as I can to do something differently to going back to eating plants after I don't eat them at all. And I did try that this year. I probably lasted about 70 hours, I think it was, and then I finished up because that was about all I could do. My body was responding to it quite strongly, but yeah, it's a tough thing. Tell me about you, because you didn't feel that great either. Is that my understanding of those 40 days for you?
Yeah, it was a big thing for me to wrap my head around. It wasn't more so the nutritional side of things that was bothering me. It was more the preparation of my food and how I went about preparing. Well, I literally just went from eating steaks, eating eggs, to waking up, having oats, berries, a vegan protein, and honey.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, what I was making tasted unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it was just a big thing for me to get over. I'm like, how have I gone from this to this? And at least it wasn't too bad. And then probably within a week and a half, I really started to feel just not myself. Now, take consideration, like, I'm not an unhealthy guy. I've been taking care of my body, my physique for essentially my entire life.
Yeah. So
it's not like I was completely run down. I'd probably still be performing better than 95% of human beings on planet Earth. But I definitely did not feel the same as what I was. I actually remember, because me and a training group that I coordinate every Monday morning, we run stairs and we run hills every Monday down at the beach. And I remember it was maybe the 4th or 5th run up the hill out of 10 I was, I actually could not complete the run up. I just stopped halfway and just jogged it. I couldn't do it at the full pace. And that's when I really noticed. I'm like, whoa, like this is, I'm struggling hard. I'm
Yes.
struggling hard.
Yep.
Plus I was eating so much. It was like, from like food volume wise.
Yep.
And that was something I wasn't used to. Like I'd get up, I'd eat, and then I'm like, I've got to eat like 4 hours later. I can't really be bothered because I need to work.
Because you were hungry, you couldn't get full, satiated, or?
Look, I was full in the moment. Like I would make like, I'm talking like 100 grams of oats. I would stack like 70 grams of protein in there. I have this big ass bowl, and by the end of it, I'm just pinned on the couch, getting to my work, and I'd be very, very full after it.
Yes.
But because it tasted so good, I wanted to have it again.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
And and on top of that, I was feeling hungrier later on down the track, don't get me wrong, but to eating this because it tasted so good. And that's when I started to confuse myself on, well, am I actually hungry, or am I just flat out addicted to the foods that I'm creating because they taste so good?
Yes.
And it's screwing up with my hunger hormone signals.
Yes. Exactly.
So that's a big trap I fell into. Now, look, I was still eating meat. I was eating like seafood. So I was having mussels. I was having a lot of shrimp and some calamari. That's where I was getting my protein sources from.
Yep.
And I did get a vegan protein powder. But yeah, other than that, I got used to it. Don't get me wrong, but there's no way I would have been able to perform the way I perform, not just from a physical standpoint, just day-to-day activities, continuing this way of eating.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I felt that last year, and I only did it for 7 days or however long. Yeah.
On top of that, I hosted. I live with my brother, and he had his birthday barbecue, celebrated his 30th at our house, and I was the only one fasting, and I was the one cooking the barbecue. So I'm sitting there over this grill, cooking cutlets, cooking the works, inhaling the fumes in which it's producing.
Yes.
And that was a massive, massive test. I mean, if I was in any trance of temptation to break what I was doing, that was the moment. And at that moment, I swear, I was saying to, I don't know who it was, but I said to somebody, I go, this smells that good. I don't care how sold you are on the vegan protocol. There's no way that you can come here, smell this barbecue, and happily grab a plate of salad and feel as if you're doing your part for the world. That just did not make sense to me.
I think there's a little part of our Greek heritage that actually also plays a big part in the desire for having meat, and ancestral for us, like something that we've always done. So that's why it's just so familiar and important. But totally get it. I tried once to do, a vegan style diet, and I couldn't do it for very long. Anytime I've ever tried it. And look, we're not here to tell people what to do and what not to do and what's right and what's wrong. But from our own experiences, this is what we're here to share, because I and I think the same with you, wouldn't have an experience that so shifts the way that you're living, sets you up to thrive physically, mentally, spiritually, just with life, and not want to share that with other people, because I think everyone deserves to know what we're experiencing, and then by sharing, maybe somebody else might think, maybe this can help me, which is what this is all about,
So you just cut off maybe like the last 5 seconds of what you were saying.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, you're a little bit distorted, but I can still see and hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Cool. No, I was just going to say this is sort of all of it, what this is about, and I think what people love to do is it's all about sharing their stories and their experiences, so that someone else might then think, you know what, this is something I want to try. This is something that I might that might help me, because there's so many different reasons why people want to try this. This is not just a diet to lose weight. You know, this is not just a diet to get in shape. You will get in shape, but we're getting you healthy first. And this is all about our health and our vibrancy. Yeah. So then what happens? Easter comes.
Easter came.
Yeah.
I actually got my blood tests done
Yes.
on Easter Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So hours before I was breaking the fast. So
Yeah.
that concluded just shy of 40 days of me essentially being a full-blown vegan, other than, like I said, the shrimp and oysters and things like that I was eating because we were allowed to.
Yes.
Got the blood results and I compared them to my results that I took back in 2020 when I did blood tests when I was doing the carnivore diet, and it was interesting to say the least. It was everything that I kind of expected.
Yeah.
There were some changes that I didn't expect, but that was probably my ill-informed knowledge of the actual data from my interpretation of it back when I was reading it. But essentially, my cholesterol plummeted. My testosterone went higher from a total testosterone standpoint, but then I had my SHGB, which essentially doubled, and that's part of your testosterone. But the higher SHGB is essentially that doesn't allow you for your free testosterone to
Mm-hmm.
naturally run within your body. So my total test was higher as a vegan. My SHGB was monumentally greater, so it was almost double. I think it was 55 to 83, something like that. And then my free testosterone ended up being lower from the vegan side of things. But because my HDL had also plummeted quite significantly, from what I've spoken to other people, the potency of my free testosterone, because my HDL had plummeted.
Yep.
So the discrepancy between vegan and carnivore was 4%.
Yeah.
4% in favor of the carnivore from a free testosterone standpoint. But because my HDL was maybe 3 times higher on the carnivore, something like
Yeah.
that, that just meant the number that I had was a far more potent amount of free testosterone. So the number wasn't greater, but you can't just look at a single particular part of the data. There's all these other areas in which you need to have a look in that, paints the overall picture.
I remember you doing a video on this explaining it, I think, and I was like, I'm not an expert in testosterone, so I don't really understand, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I'm planning to do that again in another 6 weeks because, granted, I mean, like I said, these results were from 5 years ago. I've aged 5 years, and naturally, men will lose it, year after year after year. So, I'm interested to see what the results will depict in the next 6 weeks when I do it.
Yes.
But I don't think it'd be that much different from when it was 5 years ago.
Yes. Okay.
But now I've just entered the 5th week.
Yeah.
Stopping the fast because Easter's obviously finished, and so I think it's like 29 days, something like that, and I've managed to lose a lot, like almost 4 kilo, 3.9 kilo in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And now I've basically flatlined my weight at around 67 kilos. The last week I've managed to put on maybe half a kilo to a kilo from what the scales are showing, but I reckon I'm arguably looking my best that I've ever looked in my life. Without trying, I'm at my weight in which I fought at in my boxing fight last year. And with the amount of training that I was doing in comparison to this time last year to what I'm doing now, it's night and day difference. It's not that I'm not training, but preparation for a fight, it's completely different. And without fail, without me even trying, I'm hovering around a weight in which I feel optimally, and that's why I'm a firm believer that with this way of eating over a long enough period of time, I think your body will naturally find its shape in which it really belongs.
Yes.
With the stimulus you provided externally.
Yes. Yes. I mean, we obviously encourage people to move and be active, train, but even doing the bare minimum and eating like this, it makes a huge difference. And apart from, sorry, we've got some.
That's right.
I want to talk to you more about your energy levels, because I think the pictures are night and day. Like, you can see pictures don't lie.
Yeah.
But talk to me about how you really feel right now. And for most people, and I have said this in the past to a lot of women I speak to, it's like, I don't just want you to look the way that I look. I want you to feel the way that I feel. And I think that's what a lot of people are missing out on, and get to experience when they really give it a go, is the difference in how they feel. So what's the biggest difference in how you feel now?
The difference that I feel right now is I'm not feeling like I don't feel like I'm a prisoner to food. That's the big one. I'm not waking up and looking for food. I don't feel as if I'm bound to eat or I need to eat, and that's disturbing my emotional state and dictating how I plan my day based around, well, I need to get a meal here, I need to get a meal there. Now, because of my busy schedule, I am often finding myself that I will prematurely eat because I have the luxury that I do work from home, and I may have, say, a block of 5-6 hours in which I just can't spare to eat, and I want to eat before then, so I'll end up just putting a steak down. But I don't need to eat it, put it that way. I don't need to eat it. Prior to this, I was like I said, I'd wake up like fiending for the food, fiending, and it's just giving me more flexibility. Like, if I don't have to eat, I don't have to eat. It doesn't bother me.
Yes. Yeah. How many times a day are you eating currently?
Twice.
Yeah. I think that's about the same for me too. I wake up in the morning and I have 2 steaks with butter every morning. That's because I eat early and it suits my lifestyle and my schedule and everything. And then I'll maybe have something little in the afternoon, like late afternoon, and that'll usually be it. I totally agree with you, and I understand that idea that, and I noticed it, by the way, while I was away. I noticed it while I was away because I was observing people around me. I was observing people on the plane. I was looking at like life, society, humans in this day and age. Just there's so much focus on food, and like, oh, it's lunchtime, I have to eat. Oh, it's dinner time, I have to eat. Oh, I'm on the plane, they're offering me Oreos and snacks, I should take it. And I was watching people and what they were doing. And for me, it's like, I eat in the morning to fuel up. I fuel up every morning. My body is expecting that fuel. And then I just get through the day and I just do not think about food at all. Like, I don't need it unless, like, I do need usually about the second something later in the afternoon, and it's only small. It won't be ever the same as in the morning. But it's the same, when I was away, it's like I didn't really need to worry about where am I going to, I mean, I was being fed at the retreat anyway and at the event, but it was like, I don't really have to go and find food or like fill my time up with food or snack on food, because you just don't want it so much, So I totally get that.
That's literally exactly right. And when I also observe other people, and again, like I was saying before, when you adopt this, I'm not going to say way of eating, I'm going to say this lifestyle, this mindset, this new world that you step into, more than just I'm only eating meat. It's the way you like it's like an energy sort of thing that you take onto the world. And when you're looking at food from a purely a fuel based system, then if someone hands you, it's you're going out and people just hand out lollies and people are like, oh yep, I'll take it, like not even a thought.
Yes.
It's just like an instinct. They have to say yes because they're not looking at the food the way in the which how we look at it. Because when you do carnivore, you start educating yourself on a deeper level about the foods that you're actually eating and why you're eating them and how they're affecting your body.
Yeah.
At least you eventually get to that stage, I believe. A lot of people come into it for whatever that reason it is, and it's just very easy. I'll eat meat, I'll eat meat, I'll eat meat, and then why am I eating this meat? Why am I eating fatty meat? What does fatty meat do for me? How is it affecting me? And then you just start learning more and more and more. And I find that the more I've learned, there's no going back. Put it that way. Like there's absolute no going back. It doesn't make any nutritional sense for me, and from a practicality standpoint, it makes no sense either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say to you. I mean,
this is what I say to people too, because let's just talk a little bit about starting carnivore. And I think you're in a little bit of a different position to some people because you're already eating relatively well, I guess. And so for people who are eating a standard diet, I don't know that jumping straight to carnivore is my recommendation, because you can then have, if you're out there and you're interested, you need to look at oxalate dumping, the big thing, oxalate dumping, the way the body detoxes. Some people get the runs, some people get blocked up, some people have like a keto flu, and that's usually when they jump straight from standard diet to carnivore. Now, I went, paleo, keto, carnivore. I never had any of that. And I don't think you would have had any of that either. And I think that's why you probably have had such great results so quickly, because you were not probably binging on a whole heap of stuff that your body is, going to crave, or, I'm sure you don't have sugar cravings, carb cravings, anything like that, from where you were at to where you are now, which is why I think it's working so well for you. But for someone who's like relatively new and wanting to try this, I think there's a little bit of an approach to it. And then when you get to it, I really encourage people to stay on it, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, like 3 months, to really feel at the level you're talking about, because a lot of people struggle a little bit with it, and there's no denying that it can get hard for people to restrict this strictly, and then they go on binge restrict, and that's why I think keto is a good entry point, because you get into a really great routine, cutting out all of the sugars and the carbs and things that don't serve you, and then you start eating really well, feeling better, and then you switch to carnivore, and it's like, oh my goodness, this is like a whole nother level. And you can stay there, because when you feel better and you look better, it like fuels you for the next week and the next week and the next week, until you get to a point where you're living in a way you haven't felt before, and it's like, wow, it actually feels. I know there's a video somewhere out there I've seen of Dr. Anthony Chaffee saying this is like superhuman like, because you've never felt this way before. And once you feel it, you say things like what you just said was, I'll never go back. Why would I? If my body is thriving off this way of eating, why would I? So there's a process, there's a bit of a journey, a timeline, but I encourage people to stick it out and really feel those feelings that you're saying.
Yeah, that's a great point of advice, especially if I guess you are dipping your toes into get into it. I think obviously the obvious reasons behind the hardest thing about this is, well, firstly culturally, socially, it's you're essentially eradicating everything, and if you're not a strong-willed person, if you are someone that will succumb to pressure, that doesn't want to be labeled as like that person, that, oh, you're just having meat, like you're weird. I can understand where people can fall victim to that, and we'll just end up like, oh, I'll just have the bread or whatever it might be. So yeah, there are those. Like for example, like Mother's Day.
Mm. Oh yeah.
3 weeks ago, my
Yeah.
mother hosted Mother's Day at her house, invited the
Yeah.
whole family over. She's making a moussaka,
Yeah.
which is a Greek dish.
Yeah.
And I've just started back into my carnivore ways,
Yeah.
and I'm bringing steaks
Yeah.
over. Whole family.
Yes.
I'm talking like 8 people sitting there eating the food that my mother cooked on Mother's Day, and her eldest son is grilling lamb on the barbecue. Now, not many people can do that. Not like, so I can understand the difficulties behind it, but I I've, I know how I feel on this, and I love my mother dearly, but unfortunately, the way I feel is above all else. So I wouldn't trade, what I'm doing for the world. And now this now becomes my identity, where people just get it. And
Yeah.
once you do something long enough, it's just like, you're that person. Everyone knows someone that just doesn't. You just don't offer that person a drink. My brother's that guy.
Yes.
He goes to a party. No one offers him a drink because they just know he's been rejecting him for his whole life.
Yes.
Once you start creating that identity,
Mm.
it makes it a
Yeah.
lot easier. But the initial phases, yeah, you're right. It's probably a lot easier to transition from a ketogenic diet, having some steak and maybe some salad. It's
Yep.
not as weird.
Yes. Absolutely. And in saying that and the way people view you, I often say to people, you don't, because I know a lot of people that just want to scream it from the rooftops. And I know a certain member of the South Australian carnivore community, a good friend of mine, an older gentleman, and he's just found it recently. It's completely changed his life, and in a big way. Actually, I need to get him on and have his story shared. But he loves to tell everyone, even strangers at the restaurant, like when he goes out and eats. And I said, what you really have to do is just lead by example and let the way you're living show them rather than tell them, they should or shouldn't, what they should or shouldn't be doing. And I often say, hey, no one's making me eat like this. No one, nothing. It's like, I'm actually choosing this. Now, if I'm choosing this, I would prefer them to say to me, can't believe you're eating only meat, or whatever they say. I would prefer someone turn around to me and say, if you're choosing to eat like this, I'd really love to know why. Because if this is a choice, then tell me more about why. Because if someone like you can choose to switch to this way of eating or fueling your body or living, then I want to know why. I think more people should be curious about what we're saying here and what we're sharing, because when no one's making us live like this, and when you've got people like you and me and many others saying, I'll never go back, there's got to be a really good reason for that, So I encourage people to be curious, actually.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of weight behind what you just said
Mm.
there, which is very important because yes, it's a way of eating. Yes, it's somewhat of an identity, and I think some people can get carried away with an identity of like a certain way of eating, a religion, a nationality, and it can almost be like, we're better than you, sort of like it doesn't need to be like that way. It's like I eat what I eat, I feel the way I feel. If you want to come and try and look the way I look, then just
Yeah,
eat steaks. Like steaks are
yeah,
mad.
yeah,
You
exactly
just got to
right.
continuously do
And
it.
by the way, question: do you ever get sick of it? Do you get sick of eating the same thing every day?
Uh, no, no. I mean, look, I don't think that's a good question to ask me because I'm a guy that's just, if I want to just do something, I'll do it. If I need to eat a Scotch fillet every day, I'll do it. I'm not going to get sick of it. I know some people can,
Mm.
so I don't kind of fall down that. If I need to just do it, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
yes, yeah. I'm the same. I eat the same thing every day. I have no issue eating the same thing every single day. I get my order from a farm up in the hills, grass-fed, grass-finished. No hormones, no vaccines, no sprayed grass. grass-fed, grass-finished. So just for those who are not sure what that means, the animal can be fed grain for the last 6 months, I believe, and be labelled grass-fed. So really important to find local farmers, if you can, who are doing the right thing and giving us grass-fed, grass-finished beef.
Yeah, correct. So, I mean, look, Scotch fillets, in my opinion, are arguably the best cut of beef you can have. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to get sick of them, and that's what I'm eating. So I'm having the best cut you can have. If I was
Yeah.
having things that were more plain, yeah, sure, I'd probably get over mince and things like that.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
Recently I've had a variety of different foods. Now I've got a mate of mine who's a hunter,
Yes.
and he lives out in lives quite far out in Victoria, and on his land he has wild deer and he shoots deer.
Yeah.
So he's minced me up deer. He's given me deer backstrap. Now deer is relatively lean.
Yes.
It's it's somewhat like kangaroo in terms of its protein to fat ratio, which is extremely on the lean side.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do have that, I'm mixing it with like 4 or 5 eggs and practically drowning it in ghee.
Yes.
I do have my Scotch fillets. Often I'll just go past this with Lucky Shop and ask for a large container of lamb
Lamb?
gyro.
Yeah, I did the same.
Um,
Somebody asked,
lamb,
just on that, somebody before said in the comments, what do you eat in the afternoon? What's my second meal? And sometimes that's what I'll have. It's just a small container of some lamb.
yeah. See, I mean, with the way I eat with my foods is I like to, especially with meat, I just prefer to eat it like straight off the grill, something fresh. So if I'm on the go, I won't prepare like some boiled eggs or some. The way I look at it is, if I want to spend good money on meat,
Yes.
I'm not going to cook the meat and then eat it not within that half an hour
Yes.
period. Later on down the track or tomorrow, God forbid.
Mm. Yes.
It's got to be right there
Not
and
the
then. I've
same.
got to respect meat.
Yes.
So if I'm out and about, I will go get some lamb off the spit, something like that.
Yes.
Maybe some chicken. I don't particularly go to that as often. If
Yes.
if I need it, I'll do it. But I typically stick to red meats and eggs, really.
Yes. I've been adding a little bit of fish in lately as my second meal, just not all the time, but sometimes. Just in the oven I cook it in the beef fat and butter and salt. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I'm actually implementing that as of this week. So I've now taken my whole schedule, carnivore way of eating, mixing it in with my Orthodox faith to a whole nother level, where Wednesdays and Fridays I'm going
Yes.
to actually abstain from eating red meat,
Okay.
and I'm going to be eating basically any animals that I'm allowed to,
Yep.
based on the Orthodox faith, which goes down to shrimp, calamari,
Yep.
mussels, things like that. Anything that can't bleed and doesn't have a backbone, from memory, it is.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep.
I'll be applying that Wednesdays and Fridays. Now, these are always on the leaner side of things, so I'm probably just going to have to drown them in. Actually, I can't even cook them in butter.
No.
I haven't even thought of what I'm going to do then. All right, so then I'm probably just going to have to barbecue them. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so Wednesdays and Fridays, I haven't thought deep enough about this, but that's something
No.
I'm doing as of tomorrow.
Okay.
When
I do barramundi. Do you like salmon or barramundi? I like barramundi. Yeah.
salmon's crazy.
Yeah.
Salmon's my go-to, but I can't eat it unless it's on not on a Monday, not on a Wednesday or Friday.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. Hey, whilst we're talking about, I've got some props here I want to share with you and everyone watching. So when I go, speaking about what you cook your meat with, I don't know if we can see this. I'll see if I can take it out. When I go to the farm, could use coconut oil, but yeah, not quite the same. This is suet, beef suet.
Yeah.
So it's I get it in a slab, and it's a beef fat. I think that's somewhere near the kidney. If there's anyone that actually knows this, let me know. Kidney and somewhere of the cow. And I just get it in this massive slab. They give it to me, and I chop it up into little portions like this, and then freeze them, and then I get them out, and I cook with that, and that makes the meat taste amazing. So cooking with that. Otherwise, I saw he was on before. I don't know if he's still here, Darcy. This nice from his Darcy the steak lad, and he's got this really nice beef tallow. So you can cook with beef tallow. I also want to share with you, because I'm a big fan. Because everything is very limited really on what we're having. I like to make sure we're using really good quality, ingredients, or things like salt. And so this is a Lake Deborah salt. It's from WA. It's a pure lake salt, and it actually is organic, responsibly harvested, very pure. Because there are certain salts out there that have been tested and actually have a lot of lead in them. So if you need a really good salt, this Lake Deborah salt is amazing. Beautiful to put on meat. What else have I got here to show you? Oh, are you having electrolytes?
Yeah, I just put salt in my water and on my steaks.
Yes. Okay.
And I usually get it from like a bone broth.
Yeah. I have recently really been getting into electrolytes, and in the States, everyone at that retreat, at that event, was just having electrolytes regularly. So this is Sodi, South Australian company, global, ships globally, and they've got sodium, potassium, magnesium. So I highly recommend them as well. For anyone that's doing carnivore, I think I've noticed a difference in having electrolytes every day. So just sipping, putting it in my drink bottle and sipping it all day.
Yeah, that just pretty much tastes like salt. Am I right?
Yeah, it's lightly salted. It lightly salts your water from a taste perspective. Yeah.
So do you just put it in water and that's it?
Yeah. I put it in my bottle. I've got this lucky. I've got a big bottle, and I just fill it up with water in the morning, and I drink that. I put one of these or a scoop. They can also come in a little tub, but one of these. If anyone's interested, actually, I've got 15% off these in my bio. I've noticed a really big difference if you're a female from a hormone perspective. I've definitely noticed a difference since having that. So, yeah.
Okay. I've got a question for you. I've got a question for you, because I know you do a lot of training as well. How often when you do train, when is your meal that you have prior to training? Like how big is the gap between it?
I like to train fasted.
Okay.
I've always trained fasted. I have no problems with that.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I've had some advice on perhaps having a little bit of protein before I go in.
Yeah.
But I don't like training on. I like training on an empty stomach, and I'll usually do that. Yeah.
I think you're far better off doing that. No protein. Just go in there fasted. I think there's nothing wrong with going into. I think it's almost important to go into training with a level of hunger.
Yes, and when we're lifting weights, sometimes if you're lifting, sometimes it affects my tummy if I'm training. I've just had food, like I just can't do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was only last week where I went and did some boxing, and I had a feed. Maybe it was definitely 2 more, maybe even been 3 hours prior.
Yeah,
I kid you not, I was struggling.
Yeah.
If I had turned up the intensity up a notch of like 1%, all my food would have been out.
Yeah.
So 3 hours for me is not even enough. Mind you, it was a relatively large meal, but because with this way of eating, you're not having acute responses to your body. Like, I'm not eating a steak and then feeling immediately energized as if I was having like some lollies or, some pasta or something like that.
Yeah.
There's essentially no need. Like, even if I was down to like 5% body fat, I'd have hundreds of thousands of calories on my body. So
yes,
I think for anyone that does train, from my personal experience, and sounds like yours, do it fasted. I think it's important to have a slight sense of hunger, because it does make make you a little bit sharper.
Yes.
And ancestrally,
Yes.
if we weren't hungry, we wouldn't go out to hunt. And I'm damn sure a hungrier hunter is a better hunter. So if you want to increase the intensity and your focus within a training session, go in there hungry. I know some of my athletes that I coach that aren't carnivore, but they do not eat prior to games. Not because they like to go into a game hungry per se. It's more so the nerves.
Yes.
But because they are in a heightened state, that suppresses their appetite. So therefore they go in there with what I like to call the eye of the tiger, where they have that tenacity. Whereas when you're comfortable, you've eaten, you're relaxed, you've done the work, you know, traditionally speaking, ancestrally speaking, the work was to hunt. That was, I guess, our workout.
Yeah.
So if we're going to hunt, and like, there's no way a tribe's hunting a mammoth and then doing a workout after that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true. Very true. I get you. And I think that's very true. We're actually going back to how we've always lived. And by the way, going to the Smoky Mountains for me was a real great opportunity to slow down and realize how far away we are living from how we should be. You know, like too much noise, too much. Like, my kids think I'm funny because I can't, and even now I've got them on. I hate the bright light. You know, I just don't like bright lights. I like dim light. You know, we should talk maybe a little bit about circadian rhythm. You know, we should be waking up with the sunrise, going to sleep with the sunset, going out in the morning, grounding. I've got a grounding mat on my bed, like on my mattress. So I tell you what, when I got back from not sleeping on it for a week, my body just kind of relaxed into it and felt amazing. So I sleep all night on my grounding mat. I would never not do that. And I go out in the morning, you know, I meditate in the morning, breath work outside, gratitude, grounding again on the floor, on the grass, looking at the sunrise, cold shower straight away. Like you don't cold shower every day?
Every single day.
Yeah. So good. Now is the best when it's freezing outside. This morning I was loving it because it's so good to have a proper cold shower in the morning. You know, and so I do all of that, and then I eat my steak. And that's how I start my day every single day. You know?
That sounds like a 10 out of 10 morning. Do you drink coffee by any chance?
No.
You don't have?
I don't drink coffee. I don't like coffee. I've never have liked coffee. I do drink some herbal tea. Okay. And you know, ultimately, carnivores probably say it's a plant and you're drinking it. And look, it doesn't impact me, and I love having it. And I often will do my morning routine. I'll get my kids ready for school. I'll drop them off, and I go to a certain place where I sit and I have a tea. And it's kind of, you know, like the Japanese, like culturally have tea ceremonies. And, you know, I like to have a tea as a bit of a, you know, calming or just a moment. Like it's more like it's time for me. And that's the only reason I'll have it. I may do that once a day, you know, and not every day, but, you know, once every couple of days. So, do you drink coffee or?
I do. I've been looking into the whole carnivore space with coffee, and I guess some of the things that I've been coming across is that if you're truly not the coffee's it comes from a bean, therefore it's a plant. It's not that side of things. It's more so that if you're truly carnivore, then you shouldn't need the coffee, as it's almost like an energy boost. So if you're having coffee, it's because you're perhaps not consuming enough meat or energized food from your eating. I wouldn't say that's the case for me. I definitely eat enough. I think it's for me that it's one of those cultural things. I love the taste of coffee.
Greek coffee or normal?
Greek coffee.
Yeah. I'll have a Greek coffee if I had to. I would have a Greek coffee, but yeah, I don't usually.
Yes. So for me, it's. I mean, I love the taste. I wake up, I look forward to it. The smell of it, just.
See, it's just just I get it. I get it. It's a bit like me with having a tea.
Yeah.
Like it's a routine thing. But let's
But
just. Yep.
I will say, obviously, because coffee is going to enhance your dehydration levels, then it's something that you need to essentially almost double down on, you know, your electrolytes, double down on your
Yep.
water that you may be having. So, you know, those people that do start off with it, yeah, coffee's, I guess, it's okay, depending on who you ask that's in this space. But you most definitely need to be hydrating yourself, because this is only just going to further enhance the dehydration process on top of you already expelling all the carbohydrates. So it can be a recipe for disaster, at least the first 3 weeks that I've noticed with people. So I'm always just telling them, you know, just it's not just your fluids, it's your electrolytes, most importantly, actually.
Yes, 100%. You know, a lot of people add, for those interested, I mean, you can have dairy, I guess, on carnivore. So, you know, you could still have milk, but you can have a lot of people adding butter or cream to their tea and their coffee. So that's just something to take note of. But something you said just before, I think it's really important for people to note and remember that there is no one way to approach this, okay? Because you can try doing lion diet, which is just meat and salt, or you can do carnivore, which is anything from an animal, including dairy, or you can do like I have tea. You know, sometimes I might have a few berries, organic berries. I might have some cream and some berries. You know, and then when you're starting off, I think it's important to know what works for you, and almost to receive the feedback from your body, how you feel, how you look, how you feel, and work out what's going to work best for you. Now, if you're approaching this because you're obese, or you've got some kind of illness or disease or autoimmune, anything like that, and you have a reason to hit it, then do it right and stick to it. You know, stay consistent. But for me, where I've been doing it for a long time, and I know what works now, I know what works for me. I know what doesn't work for me. I know I can have a few berries and I'll be fine. I can have a tea and it will be fine. But I just don't think it matters if you're, you know, in the States, there are a lot of people doing animal based. They call it animal based. Some of them are having fruit.
Yeah.
You know, I would choose to have much fruit at all, and because it makes a big difference. But like, I just really want to encourage people to do what works best for them, and the only way you're going to know that is by testing things out. You know, try. I mean, I still think they need to do it properly for like 3 months, probably, and see how you go. And then it's all trial and error. There is only what's best for you, and it doesn't really matter what other people say. And you know, a lot of people often say, "Oh, I've been carnivore for a certain X amount of days and whatever." And look, it kind of doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. It just matters that you stick to it and you feel good, and you do what's best for you. So I really encourage people to just kind of stay true to themselves. There's no right or wrong way about it, you know, just what works for you.
No, I mean, absolutely. What you're saying is absolutely correct. I mean, if you're going from, let's say, the standard diet to carnivorous eating and throwing in a few bananas in there, like you're killing it. You're
Yes,
killing it.
compared to most of society.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, I will say it will probably make it a little bit more difficult for you, because I think like you're saying, you truly find the benefits once you become fat adapted. So if you are at least in the initial phases where you're trying to deplete your body full of glucose and glycogen, and then you're having a banana, you're kind of just like resetting yourself almost, and you will feel those hunger signals killing you again. So it's probably not the wisest thing to do initially, but
Yes.
once you have kind of like broken that threshold, I mean, for me, I tested my blood ketones probably 2 weeks in, and I just got past the ketogenic state, which was, I think, 0.6 millimole. But having said that, I mean, I just done a workout. They may have been a lot higher, and I just used them through energy. So safe measurements, you're probably going to need at least 2 weeks with exercise of eating this way to really break yourself through. And I would say, like you're saying, at least a month to 2 months of you really doing this before at least introducing, you know, an animal-based type of approach to allow some level of flexibility, especially if it's going to be carbohydrates that are going to kick you out of that ketogenic state, because that's really where, you know, you're winning, where you're fat adapted and you're not, you know, rushing, oh, I'm hungry, I'm getting hangry, like people call it. It's, you know, okay, do your carnivore 2 months, get fat adapted. If you want to throw in a Greek salad with some olive oil and feta, by all means, go for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The world ain't going to end. And
Yes.
the way your body is metabolizing your energy is going to be very, very similar. In fact, it's going to be the exact same.
Yes.
Because you're essentially just doing keto now.
Yes.
With a large proportion of it being meat.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. I agree with you. Sorry, my phone was gone. I totally agree with you, but I want people to have that full feeling. So it's really important to do it and have the feeling, because you kind of don't know if you haven't felt it. Yeah. Something else I was going to share with you just before for people who maybe are just getting started. What was it? Because I'm just thinking about the questions that people often ask me. And so sometimes there are people who have been doing it for a while and all of a sudden they're not losing weight. And sometimes, because like you said, you know, sometimes like if you've got a specific weight loss goal, we may not be eating enough. And that can be very, very common on carnivore. Like you initially lose some weight and then all of a sudden you'll reach this new set point and then nothing will move again. And a lot of the time we're just sometimes not eating enough. So that's something to consider and research and do a bit of trial and error. When I did my bikini comp, that's when I started carnivore. I was eating, and that's the only time I really counted calories, because you kind of have to for that thing. I was eating 2,000 calories, the most I've ever eaten. Leanest I've ever been, eating the most I've ever eaten. So, yeah, I've experienced that, but now I keep it very, very simple. Yeah.
Yeah, I've found although calories are important.
1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, we've got children still up around here.
That's all good. I've found the whole calories thing, because I was tracking my calories for the first 2 weeks, just for the data, from a data standpoint, and after that, I just kind of started eating anything and everything. I wanted to take my mind away from the calculator standpoint and give myself start becoming a little bit more intuitive. If I feel like I need to eat, I'm going to eat, and start listening to my body, which I think is the most important thing about this way of eating. You know, it's all about tapping into being more, you know, living more we were ancestrally.
Yes.
So I stopped tracking, but because I've been tracking for so many years, I'm able to guesstimate the amount of calories that, you know, I'm eating.
Yeah.
And from my guesstimation, I'm eating way more calories than what I would be. Say, for example, if I was to compare the amount of calories I'm eating in this way of eating to what I was doing when I was fasting for Easter, I would have been gaining weight left, right, and center. Now, granted, obviously, I'm having carbs, so a lot of it would have been water weight, but that still would have been a considerable weight gain. So there is obviously a threshold. Like, I can't just have like 50,000 calories and not gain weight and just think carnivore is this fabulous diet that's can do no wrong. But there is definitely a greater leeway with this way of eating, even if you over-induce calories based on what you think is your maintenance calories.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that my maintenance calories are around that 2,500 to 6 mark. I'm eating over 3, and I'm not putting on any weight.
Yeah.
I've dropped the bulk of my water, and now I'm just sitting comfortably,
Yeah.
and I'm
That's it.
slamming food.
Yeah. Food freedom. It's just about food freedom, isn't it? Just freedom from all of that, counting calories, or, you know, it's just a peaceful way to live with regards to food. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And with touching on dairy, how
Yeah.
much do you consume, if any?
I have butter every morning with my
Okay,
steaks.
when I mean dairy, I'm talking like yogurt, cheese, milk,
You
things
know,
like that.
I have no yogurt and I have no milk. The only thing I'll eat is I get a nice pure cream, not
Mm-hmm.
thickened cream. It's like a pure cream, and it's from a local farm here also. And that's the only dairy I'll have with the butter. Yeah, I still have butter. Mainly only eat butter in the morning with my steak. Now
Okay.
I'm eating probably a little bit too much butter for a while, and so I kind of cut that in half. So I'm maybe having 20, 30 grams in the morning. Yeah.
And you just spread that over your steak, do you? Let it melt over it after you cook it?
I just slice it like a chunk of it, and I have it like on top of my steak. So a bit like that's very weird, but a bit like a dip, like a kind of like spread it on top of my steak.
I've seen the photos. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't eat like a stick of butter like Bella, for example, steak and butter
Yeah.
gal. But I will sometimes slice a thin piece if I feel like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll mainly have it in the morning with my steak and that's it.
Mm.
Yeah, no. I was doing yogurt for a while, and I've stopped yogurt, and yogurt's no good for me. It just doesn't work. But this cream is really nice, so I'll have maybe 1 to 2 tablespoons once a day, maybe twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just something else to have. And I'm a bit funny. I like hot and cold, so if I've had a steak, I like to have something cold afterwards. And yeah, or I would. By the way, I know you said you don't like doing this before, but I sometimes will cook a steak, cut it up, take it out with me, and have it cold. Yeah. So, I'm pretty easy like that, but that's mainly for convenience and daily schedule. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
I was just going to say this. I prefer. So there's a really great company called Built Strong, and they do these really great Australian grass-fed beef chips. Now this is actually a teriyaki flavour, and I probably wouldn't eat that one, but I absolutely love. They've got a chili one, and they've also got just a salted one, and that is a really great snack. So I took them overseas with me, and they were just so good to have in the plane. And if you haven't got access to meat and you're out and you've got a packet of these, once you start eating them, like they've got crunch to them, but once you start eating them, it's like you're eating meat on the run. So them also Chief do a Chief Nutrition do a biltong, and that's quite soft and chewy, and I really like eating that too. So many options, so many options. Let me show you something else. Hold on. So when I was in the States, I met a beautiful girl called Courtney Luna. Now she has this book called Carnivore in the Kitchen. If anyone's interested, jump on her Instagram. This has got some really good recipes. I mean, I know we just like eat steak and that's simple and easy, but some people want to have options, and this has got some really great recipes. So for anyone out there interested in a actual cookbook, this is a really great cookbook. So, yeah. Anything else? Any other questions, or anyone else got any questions before we go? We've been over an hour. It's funny, I was again going to say to you, we'll just do half an hour, 45 minutes, but it doesn't work that way.
That's never going to happen.
No, that's right. By the way, stay tuned. There's something I'm doing which is likely to come to Melbourne late June. So I'll have more on that in about within the week. I'll have more info, but I can't share it yet. But if
All
you're carnivore or interested in carnivore, you'll want to be there. So,
right. I may not even be in the country. I'm going to be in Greece.
no.
Well, I'm flying out late June. I'm flying out the 30th.
Oh no, that'll be fine.
So if
We're
it's
looking
anything
at
before then it's all good. But
it is. The book. Someone just asked. The book is called Carnivore in the Kitchen by Courtney Luna. It's a beautiful book. It's a really, really beautiful book. So, no, 24th. Chris, 24th of June is looking to be when this is going to happen in Melbourne.
all right, all sorted then.
I'll let you know. Where are you going? Where are you going in Greece? How long are you going
I'm
for?
going for 3 weeks.
Yes.
I'm going on to an island called Githera, which is just down the Peloponneso, just off Athens.
Yes.
I'm going to be a best man for the second time. So I'm married, which I'll be marrying him and his wife to be.
From Melbourne, they're going there to have the wedding? Yeah.
From Melbourne, yeah, we're all flying over there. So I'll be down in Githera for a week.
Yes.
From there, I'll be flying back to Athens.
Yep.
I'll spend maybe 5 to 6 days down south, catching up with a couple of footballers that I'm coaching, and I've got a mate that lives in Athens as well.
Yes.
And then I'll be venturing up north for the remainder of my trip to catch up with my parents again and see both sides of the family. And I'm planning to also visit the monastic state of Mount Athos again.
Lovely.
So that will wrap up my 3 weeks and back to Melbourne.
Nice. Oh, enjoy that. When you go up north, there will be a whole heap of people from Adelaide around because there is another wedding happening in second week of July, if you're still there then. And there are a lot of people from Adelaide going over for a wedding in July. So there'll be Aussies everywhere.
Greece in the summer is like just Greek Australians galore. It's crazy. Some areas you go into, I've bumped into people in Greece.
Yes.
I wouldn't say I've bumped into them. I've met people in Greece that like literally live down the road from me here in Melbourne, and I've never seen them in my life. But then I see them in Greece. I'm like, how the hell does this even like? What are we talking about right now?
I know the world is so small when that happens. I had that happen once too. I was in Mykonos. I mean, you're bound to bump into someone you know there, but this is quite a while ago, 2007. But yeah, we were walking on the beach at 11 o'clock at night and bumped into a whole group of people from Adelaide that night. So
Mykonos is diabolical.
Yeah.
Mykonos is just literally Melbourne, Sydney, and Adelaide.
Yes.
It's crazy.
I haven't been since 2011, so I'm due. I'm due, I think. Oh, by the way, there is a guy. He was on before. He's not on now, I don't think. But there is someone I interviewed from. Well, he's called the Greek Carnivore. Actually, doesn't live in Greece, but is from Greece, and he is very interested in running a carnivore event in Athens. At some point.
I reached out to him. I reached out to I thought he was living in Greece. I think he's in Switzerland.
Yes, Switzerland. That's right.
Because
yes.
I said to him, I go, mate, I'm going to be in Athens this time. Like, let's catch up. Let's rip a steak. And much to my surprise, he pulls out Switzerland, and I was like, what?
Yeah, he is. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's also. I think very interestingly, there are some doctors and some people in Greece that are actually really focusing on carnivore and what it can do for you. So I think he'd like to bring more knowledge to the country. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I might be involved in that, so I'll let you know.
Did you say he's doing something in Athens?
Yes. Yeah.
As in this year?
I think it was I think we were talking about later on in the year.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen or not. It may be next year. Yeah.
I'll reach out to him again and see if he's going to touch base, because he's obviously from Greece. So
yes.
Maybe we can.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, that was a great chat. Thanks for jumping on.
My pleasure.
So much so much that we can talk about, and I mean, it would be great. It would be great to have more Q&As, because there's a lot of people that have questions. I had a lot of questions, and you're getting a lot of questions too, I saw on your story today, which is good, because all you do is share your experience, and there's so much information out there for people. So go and check out Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Sally Norton. There's just so many people out there that are sharing really great information. So yeah, Dr. Kiltz. Yeah. So, yeah, it's awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing. And keep doing what you're doing. And I'm excited to see how you go, going forward, like for the long term, how you feel, how you're looking, how you're doing.
Before I fly out, I will do my tests again. I think that will give me, that will probably give me about, if I'm entering the 5th week now, I'm flying out to Greece in, say, 4 weeks, probably about 9 to 10 weeks of me doing it proper, so just shy of 3 months. I'll redo my tests, and then that will give my data a little bit more, being close proximity to when I did it, obviously throughout Easter. And I'll share it on my Instagram, and maybe we can jump on a live again and have a chat there, or maybe when I'm in Greece.
Yes. Let's do it, so I can remember what it's like over there. Hey, while you're on the plane, you know what I did was I cooked up some steak and packed it and took it with me, because what are you going to eat on the plane unless you fast, really, water fast or something. So get some of these, cook some steak. I know you don't like cold steak. We've talked about this, but I think
nothing.
You have to, otherwise.
The plane food.
No, you can't have the plane food. That doesn't work. I prefer to eat nothing. Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Have a great night. Have a great rest of the week. Thanks everybody for jumping on, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.
See ya.